it's a really great opportunity to talk to your partners, set some intentions for yourself, but also set some relational intentions, brush off those agreements, have a nice check-in, maybe a longer check-in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Queer Relationships, Queer Joy.
Here we are after a little break.
Yeah, we all need to take breaks. So we took a week break right before the end of the year, and we'll do some check-ins, kind of see how both of us are doing.
Take the temperature at this point, right before the new year, where things are.
Yeah. And we want to take this is going to be a very casual type of day, talking about wrapping up the year, talking about some New Year's intentions, and want to take a moment to also recognize how what we talk about can be utilized by other people listening for your own New Year's intentions and check-ins. So introductions.
I know I was ready for the updates, but let's do introductions first.
Are we just going to start doing, the podcast I listen to, I wonder is there ever a time we stop doing, not check-ins, we'll always do check-ins, but is there a time when we stop doing intros?
Honestly, I feel very at home with the other podcasts I've listened to because I think they do the same thing, at least in my library or whoever I've subscribed to. It's like, get into all these details and are like, oh shit, here's our podcast, here's our names. Like, let's do that. But it becomes an afterthought at some point.
It is. Well, and I think back to not the co-host now, but there was a co-host that was working with Ashley Gavin, and they had Kate Sisk had their intro down. And so maybe one of my New Year's intentions, maybe an actual New Year's resolution, I will get my intro down so fast. It'll just be really crisp, specific. We'll keep practicing. That'll be I'll practice that. Practice that in the mirror.
Totally. like an affirmation.
Keely's affirmation for the week. All right. Well, speaking of that, my name is Keely C. Helmick. I am the owner of Connective Therapy Collective. I'm a licensed sex therapist. I am queer, non-binary, white femme. I am practicing non-monogamy and really solo non-monogamy right now, but I am ready for a primary. I have taken over a year from having a full relationship, however you want to term that, in my terms, a full relationship. And I'm ready for primary. This solo poly stuff does not jive with me. I'm not a solo poly person.
I hear you're being over it as you say that. I am ready.
But we all know, and people can deny this, but please write in, when you're wanting it, it doesn't happen. And as soon as I get in a place where I'm like, oh, fuck it, like whatever, that's when it'll happen. But it has to be authentic. I can't pretend it and pretend to be over it. I need to really just be like in my groove and not trying to get a relationship. And that's when that person orbits into my life.
Of course, I'm going to do my intro, I swear. But of course, the analogy that comes to my mind is cats. Is anyone surprised that that's what comes into my mind? But it's like when they're looking at you and they're like, I want to sit on your lap. But if you make eye contact and you want that, they're not going to do it. You got to look away. You got to play it cool, use some improv skills. Like, I'm not interested. And then they jump in your lap. So that's what you got to do, Keely. Look away. And then that partner's just going to jump right into your lap.
Well, if I get off all the apps, is that the same as looking away from the cat? Just off all the apps again, do my little thing, go off for 2 weeks, a month.
They work for me over summer.
I mean, I am going to join the lesbian choir, maybe a friend of a friend. I don't know. All right, here's my intro because we're already updating because that's the fun part anyway.
Yeah. I am Melisa DeSegura. I am licensed as a therapist in Oregon and California. I work at Connective Therapy Collective. I am a white person. I'm able-bodied. I am bisexual. I am polyamorous. And my gender is fun. It's fun and interesting. And it's all over the place. Sometimes I say I'm gender fluid. Sometimes it feels gender queer. I'm gender spicy. going with some of the terminology we've used recently. I use she and they pronouns.
Oh, gender spicy. Everything's spicy right now.
Everything
We need
is
some
spicy.
spice in this gray Portland weather. So yeah, bring on the spice.
That's what it is. I'm already over winter and it like barely has started.
I learned that there's spicy veggie straws.
Oh,
I tried those out, speaking of spicy, yesterday. That was interesting. At a big queer gathering, watching the final episode of White Lotus. I won't give anything away, and realizing that was like 2 weeks ago. So everyone knows what happens. And we were all sad because it's just really sad. I'll tell you later, Melissa. Everyone knows fucking homophobia. But not real. It's like the joke. It's like the joke, like, oh my gosh, this series, like it's now ended season 2. It's like that writer, you hate the gays. You just kill them all off. You just kill off all the gays.
No. See, and I have feelings and I don't even know the show.
There's big feelings. There were big feelings.
I could feel that. Yeah.
So the update, we were talking about names and pseudonyms. Shout out to Ashley Gavin. I'm going to use her term. I'm going to use her term. And she has a person that she calls main, like the person that she talks about more often. And so I'm going to try that out for the person. So main, my main is the person that I've talked about for being in a dating dynamic for over a year now. And they're the ones that went to the Midwest over the summer. And then we had like shifted our relationship dynamic to friends, or more friends than lovers. And they got back in town. We're like, oh, wait a minute. We want it to be actually more serious than it used to be. And we really shifted our relationship dynamic. So main was very busy this weekend with their other partner. And I just found myself in one of those situations, hanging out with their friends, but then having to really be conscientious of all these interactions. And as much as I'm really enjoying our relationship dynamic, there are some challenges coming up in the poly, like really noticing that there was like, it was okay when we were more casual, but now their partner, who they've been with for over 3 years, is making some decisions that aren't necessarily decisions that I agree with. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling this tug of pull. And now that it's after Christmas, it's after this holiday, I'm looking at spending New Year's Eve with them. And then they have their birthday coming up. And then it's Valentine's Day. And I'm looking, going, hey, we got some big things to talk about, because these things are coming up and we've gone up a notch. I don't want to say relationship escalator or relationship ladder. It's just, there's more intention. We'll use the word intention a lot today. There's more intention behind our dynamic. And so, yeah,
relationships, I want to say, like, they can progress even if you're not moving up the escalator.
Yes. Progression.
You might be on a spiral staircase. Who knows?
Yay, we're in a spiral staircase. And I really do identify having one of the most healthy dynamics I've ever had in a relationship with them. But now it's like, oh, more stuff coming up. Yay. So maybe I'll set an intention around that while you do your update, Melissa. Oh, so that's main. And then I also have Texas. That's what I'm naming the other person I'm casually dating, very casually dating. I've mentioned them before. They're the person who I was talking about who described our dynamic as a little lukewarm. But we're still hanging out and exploring what it means to be like in a healthy, slow dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, bathwater temperature is great, right? Like, we can enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, bathwater temperature in the ocean when you're swimming in Hawaii.
It's perspective. It's just perspective. If you're expecting a hot tub and you get bathwater, you might be kind of disappointed. If you're expecting like a freezing ocean and you get bathwater, you're like, oh, this is great. What was that my brain just did?
Did you start thinking about Hawaii? I mean, when I think about Hawaii, I think about sun, sand, sex. So
yeah.
And water. Yeah. Maybe that's where your brain went.
I guess so. I don't know.
What are your updates, Melissa?
Oh gosh, I don't have fancy names like you do. I don't know if I can. I wanted to say I guess I have to work on that, but I don't know if I can commit to that. I'm not sure that that would work for me. But I mean, there's a person who doesn't live here and there's a person who does. So that's what I've been saying so far.
So local and long distance?
Yeah. See, you're good at this, Keely. Yeah. My long distance person is great. I mean, it's sad though, because with the time difference, we actually have not had a lot of time to connect. And I don't know, I'm saying this and then I will have to like do a check-in before this airs, because I don't want my check-ins to be like, oh yeah, I listened to your podcast and found out how you feel about our relationship.
Yeah.
No, I mean, my sense is from our communication that we are both just really busy and that's okay. Like my sense is that we're both very okay with the amount of communication right now, even though I still do feel connected to this person. But as I say that, yeah, I should check in about that and not just assume. Yeah. And local, I mean, things are just amazing. Honestly, there's again, a lot of like, kind of like you said, Keely, a lot of progression and deepening, even though we're definitely not riding the relationship escalator in any conventional way. It's just amazing. Yeah. And I will share maybe more. I don't want to give specifics about gifts and things like that I gave for Christmas and or as we're recording this planning to give for Christmas. But I do want to name that I'm doing something very personal and very vulnerable and super romantic. And it's not that that's unlike me. That's what I do when I'm in love with someone. And this is just different. And again, I don't, even once we pass into the new year officially, I don't want to give specifics just because it's something really personal that I want to hold near to my heart. But I will say that it requires a lot of crafting and creativity. I'm making something very personal, and it's amazing because it's time consuming. And so I ended up spending like my whole weekend immersed in this project, which just meant I was like not with, my partner, but also very much with the energy of our relationship. So it was a really cool way. We've talked about this before, like how do you stay connected to people when you're not actually together or spending time together? And I felt connected all weekend and we barely talked, and then it was kind of cute. Like when the text came in, I was like, you don't know what I'm doing, but I'm like, my whole day is about you right now. Like,
oh, cute.
Star of my day,
Cute.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So I will try and give an update later on, maybe about like how the gift is received. Like I said, I'm not going to be specific. I won't promise any specifics about it, but I'm nervous. It's pretty vulnerable. Like it's the most vulnerable thing I think I've ever done. Guaranteed. So yeah.
I'm excited to hear how it goes and how how it's received and the update around that.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not like, I'm a little broke. So I haven't done gifts in a long time. So that's also like, oh yeah, like planning gifts for people. That's a thing that people do this time of year.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess those are my updates.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into intentions, so we were looking at wrapping up the year, and I also have been hearing a lot. It's a little bit of an update, but it's really actually just what's going on in social media is that this time of year is really a lot of breakups. It's like the season of breakups, and there's like statistics, and they're naming that this time is the highest between, I think they were saying the 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year's, or that 2-week kind of holiday, has the highest amount of breakups.
Wow. I think about that in the context too. And I don't know, I mean, this is going to be skewed based on like my own social media and like not just social media in terms of like bigger influencers I follow, but more so like personal accounts and people I know, which a lot of those people, there's a mix, I think, of queer culture and straight culture in my, like the people who I'm connected to.
Yeah.
But breakup season at the same time that there's this like engagement season happening for those relationship escalator writers, like that is really tough contrast. Really tough contrast.
It seems to fit if we think about it. If we think about the end of the year and we're setting intentions and we're reviewing how our life is, and really having, Melissa, you talk so much about introverting during this time of year. I've been calling it hibernation. When people ask me, I'm like, I'm hibernating.
Yeah.
So there is this time of reflection, and it makes a lot of sense of either, hey, I want to take this next step with this person. And it's a cliche for the straight culture for sure. But also it makes a lot of sense that you have this downtime, more time inside, more time of reflection, connecting with family and friends, and being like, I want to start the new year different. This person doesn't work anymore in my life.
So we're either taking steps forward or taking steps back.
Yes.
We're moving.
I mean, breakups suck. And even if it's a positive breakup or it was a positive choice, which I really believe universally, like whenever there's a breakup, that's what was meant to be. It can be really hard and sad, but also these opportunities to have new things come into your life and normalizing it more, normalizing a breakup versus, I mean, we talk about the relationship escalator all the time, but wanting to normalize that the relationship could still be great no matter how long it was, and that to have a fulfilling life and fulfilling relationships, you don't have to be married or with somebody for 40 or 50 years, as the cis white hetero monogamous white culture tells us.
Yeah, not at all. I'm also curious, like, can we talk about the idea of like waiting until holidays are over to break up?
Oh, yeah.
That's a concept a lot of my clients are talking about. Where it's
Yes.
like, okay, I feel the breakup is inevitable, and I don't want to break up with somebody right before, I can't before Christmas. I can't before, like New Year's,
We already
or
had these New Year's plans. We're already going to
right.
this party.
And
I
then,
never-
then it's Valentine's Day. Like I'm going to have to wait till next, maybe March,
I will say my first experience with this as a bystander, when I was 19, I went to Ireland and I was there for the 2-week Christmas time. I was in college and I had a friend, Brona, who I'd met over the summer at summer camp. We were camp counselors. So I went and visited her. And I remember, and this was also Y2K for those folks of us who are old enough to remember Y2K. I was in Ireland and it was turning 2000, and I'm in the bathroom, this foreign country, just like drinking because I'm 19. And so in Ireland, you can legally drink, just having a grand old time. And Brona comes in the bathroom crying and hysterical. Her fiance had just broken up with her. Awkward. That was my first experience. And I've had many experiences since then of watching people have these breakups. I mean, for me, I think I've said this in the past, my breakups were always on Valentine's Day. So maybe I did, or whoever I was with, we waited until, though I did have a breakup. Actually, no, I had a breakup on December 26th. Ooh, my relationships, my like longer term, what I say as relationships, they do really follow that timeline. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I struggle as a therapist when people tell me that, like, oh, I have to wait.
Yeah.
And I struggle because I'm conflicted in those moments of like, oh, I feel the why behind why you have to wait. And I really struggle with promoting being in relationships that we're not really like, what are you going to do? Phone it in through the holidays and like
Text.
be a fake relationship? Like that doesn't feel good.
Well, it's a lot of anxiety. It's such anxiety producing. And I think about the idea of cognitive dissonance. And so like, okay, if the holidays already bring anxiety, and that feeling of anxiety can actually be positive. It's a rush and intense feeling around these holidays, but also the cognitive dissonance is how much intensity and anxiety do you feel to the point where you just have to do something to shift. You have to shift it somehow. And that shift can be breaking up with somebody.
Yeah, it can be. And, I think the intention of, well, I want to wait is usually to spare someone hard feelings during the holidays. And I just don't know. I mean, if you two are really attuned, my assumption is, I shouldn't just say two, three, however many people are in the relationship, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that somebody wouldn't feel some energy. Like, you
like
mask it that well that they really still feel in love and enamored, or do they kind of know something's up and they're just waiting? And so their holiday is now being frozen and worried about when's it going to happen.
yeah. Yeah. So we're honoring and inviting people to think about doing the breakup whenever you want to do it. Don't rely on a holiday or a timeline. Just like we're talking about not having to be on the relationship escalator, there is no perfect time. There's never a quote unquote perfect time to break up or change your relationship dynamic. Because also, I like to normalize when we talk about breakups. I like, depending, especially in non-monogamy, and I feel more queer culture, even monogamous queer culture, than straight culture, there is a sense of still maintaining a relationship even after a breakup. So I do also like to use the word relationship, changing the relationship structure or changing the relationship dynamic. Do it. Do it.
Just do it. It's okay. Everyone will heal, regardless of the timing. And if you like holiday music, it's kind of late now because I know we're releasing this after Christmas. But for next year, if you need a breakup Christmas song, Kelly Clarkson wrote a great one called Christmas Isn't Canceled, Just You.
Oh my,
so much. I sent it to like 4 clients. It's after the season anyway. I know I'm late, and it's a great one. So reclaim that holiday, folks.
Hey, it's Cardinal, your behind the scenes buddy. Wow, I have actually ended a couple relationships on that person's birthday. So it's good to know that I'm not alone in the whole holiday breakup thing. Avoid situations like that by periodically checking in with your relationship. Not sure where to start? We have a free relationship check-in worksheet that you can use alone or with your partner or partners. Link is in the episode description. All right, back to the show.
Well, when we think about, we talked about how we're going to, speaking of breakups or like reflecting on the year. Ooh, that's a doozy. I think about how our topics we talked about, because we really started with the idea of talking about self-love and then queering Valentine's. We worked our way into the summer and doing some great interviews. Pride. We had our wonderful Pride interviews with some of the people at CTC. Got to really celebrate Pride. Then we took our little, summer vacation break, came back. We're now in full swing of season 3, exploring a lot of different things. Ooh.
We went a lot of places.
We did. And I think about the relationships that I had. Ooh. Wow. I did some dating. I did some interesting things.
You did it this year.
I know. Well, I think about the beginning. I mean, I started off the season having found out that my ex was married.
That's a way to start the season.
That's how it started last year. And then went into, what do we do? Oh, I did tons of dating and then had some flings. That makes sense. Started out with like very casual dating, had some flings, dating the same person. And now I'm like in a little bit more serious dynamic with main. So, okay. I really kind of followed a script if you really think about it.
Totally. In some ways, Keely, I know we're often like joking about how we're so different, and we are in so many ways, and our paths take different turns. And as you say that, I actually think we were on a similar path this last calendar year.
Yeah.
I mean, I started off, I would say, alone, like complete isolation alone. I've talked about that in prior episodes, and not like no one has to feel bad for me. That was very self-chosen and necessary to do some healing work and some leaving behind as I moved into the beginning of this past calendar year. And springtime started exploring a little bit, very, very casual dating and kind of figuring out, what do I like? What do I don't? That matched what we talked about with different kinds of attraction, right? And that's what I was really exploring for myself. We're like, what's the difference between my aesthetic attraction and romantic attraction or sexual desire? And how do those things work together in my body and my system? And then it was late spring that my local partner came back into my life. And that just kind of launched me into a new energetic realm of being able to.
Yes.
I really do think that also paved the way to meet my out of town partner, which happened again when I got off the dating apps. I literally canceled the apps. And then a couple weeks later, like this amazing person walks into my life. So yeah, my heart just really was practicing expansion. And that's where I'm at now. I'm really, I don't know. I mean, if I've manifested these relationships, I think I'm really in the abundant place right now. So yeah, it's been this progression from like solitary. It felt like solitary confinement in some moments, but like
To me, it feels like that back then.
yeah. In some moments it did for me, but no, this sort of at other times very peaceful, willful solitude into really being deeply connected and still in relationship with myself, which I'm going back to like our second episode, you know, of season 1, where we were like, can we actually do autonomy and connection at the same time? I'm doing it. I'm living it, baby. It's happening.
Yay. Yay. So we're reflecting on some of the points from the past year. And then in doing so, in that reflection, also thinking about what are some New Year's intentions, and also wanting to give this opportunity as a way to model that Melisa and I are talking about our intentions. It's a really great opportunity to talk to your partners, set some intentions for yourself, but also set some relational intentions, brush off those agreements, have a nice check-in, maybe a longer check-in by the fireplace. If you're so lucky to have a fireplace. I do not have a fireplace.
You get that, like, what is it, radiant fireplace on the TV, or I don't even have a TV. So for me, it's like on the computer screen, or like I've never actually done this, but I can project it onto my wall.
But yeah, do some check-ins with your partners, set some intentions.
I appreciate the use of that word, intentions, Keely. I do tend to ask clients around this time of year, like, do you make New Year's resolutions? And I get a variety of responses. For some people, that's a practice that has a lot of ties to their childhood and is very meaningful. And for others, it produces a lot of fear and anxiety and feeling negatively about oneself. I mean, I've definitely been in that crowd that set like a very concrete goal in January. And by the beginning of February, I was like, great, started the year off failing a goal like that. So that doesn't work for me. Another way to think about it for some people, and I started this before I got into intentions, was just setting a theme for the year. Like, what's the energy? For example, for our podcast, season 3, right? It's like exploration. And I've had that before, where this year's going to be about creative growth, for example. You know, this year's going to be about connection. Set a theme if you're feeling that. And also, it doesn't have to be right before the new year. I mean, we all have different ideas of when New Year is anyways, depending on your spiritual beliefs and perspectives. But sometimes I got to get in, like if I'm doing a calendar year, Gregorian calendar theme, sometimes I got to get to the end of January before I know. I'm like, oh, that's the theme this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My favorite holiday is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And part of it is the Virgo in me that loves having these goals and intentions. So I will say, I always set these up. And actually, some of the spiritual practices I do when I go to the organized meetings for my spiritual practice, they actually will guide us through this nice hour and a half, and we set right intentions, and then they mail it to us like by the end of the year. So I usually get a nice little letter about what I had written at the beginning of the year. So that's always, again, I love that. Is it the Virgo in me? Is it, I don't know. Cool. But as we're talking, I'm thinking about, I mean, an intention. I think about the podcast. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know if I use the word goal or intention, but we mentioned this a couple episodes back. How do we get to a different country, or how do we get some events going? So I am putting it out there. An intention is for us to be in a different state.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
That means I need to make the damn goal of getting I keep saying that, but like
passports,
January budget. I can budget for that in January.
Get your passport.
We are, folks, in capitalism. We're budgeting for the passport because I just can't for it.
Uh,
Oh, capitalism.
that's a podcast intention. Do you have, okay, other than passport, do you have a podcast intention?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it to the podcast. I think, honestly, expansion. I'm so happy that we are still doing this podcast and that I still feel energy and excitement and expansion, and not just meaning in growth and who we're interviewing and where we're going. Yes, all of those things. And like, we've had a lot of behind the scenes talks about how do we make the quality even better? How do we start really investing in this? And this is common anytime I listen to podcasters. You listen to the first couple episodes and it's way different than season 3, 4, 5, and beyond.
Totally.
So yeah, I just want to keep engaging full speed ahead, whether that means technical elements. I would really, really love for some more listener engagement. We have had some great feedback and questions. That's something I'd be really interested in hearing more of. So get on our social media, get on our Instagram page. Let us know your intentions for our podcast so that we can take them into consideration. Because I'm interested in investing in this project and bringing it to the next level.
Yeah, totally. And in saying that, maybe I would like to just add a couple things for our listeners to look forward to. We have planned more engagement with one of our partners, As You Like It. So we're going to have a giveaway in January because, it's January and we need something to look forward to.
Presents don't need to end with Christmas.
No.
Just keep it going.
So watch it. Pay attention to the Instagram. We'll have that popping up. We also have some fun interviews lined up. Super pumped for that. But I'm not going to give away who it is yet. We'll do some little teasers on the Instagram. So those are some fun things to look forward to is giveaways, new interviews, setting those intentions. And Melissa and I have our own little check-in, like what's working well for us in our relationship. Shrimp Teeth talks about relationships outside of just friendships and romantic relationships. And like Melissa and I have a creative relationship. So we're checking in, we're having our own check-in and agreements and intentions together.
Totally. Yeah. Do we also, now that we just said we don't have to just focus on romantic relationships? That's the first thing that I'm like, but let's go back.
We are about queer relationships. We do talk about romantic relationships.
Fair, okay.
Yes, bring it back.
I'm curious, Keely, if you have any specific relationship intentions for yourself in the next year, or if that's something that feels like a relevant practice for you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this already, I know that when we wrap up today, I have a hopeful check-in with my person main. And I definitely have the intention of expanding our agreements and having more interaction with my metamor, because we have a lot of growth to do and a lot of learning in the dynamic with the three of us. And there's actually 4 people, because the person who is, I'm gonna have to come up with names now. I have to come up with more names, but main's partner also has a spouse. And so really there's actually 4 of us that now are learning more and more how the decisions and planning affect all of us.
Yeah, you're all in the system.
That's my big relationship goal is working on that, those communication dynamics and agreements. And then with the other person I'm dating, Texas, I just hope to continue to grow more and see how that goes and see what it's like dating, like solidly dating 2 people. And then maybe chilling out for a minute and getting off the apps. I am in the next day or 2, I'm going to get off them for a little bit and focus on these 2 developments. And then a third thing is their name is going to be Leo on the podcast. Leo is the person I've referenced before who I've had an off again, on again, friendship, lover, non-monogamous, monogamous, all the things. Oh, they popped back up. And so my goal with them is to have a solid friendship foundation and see how we can actually stay in each other's lives in a way that's really healthy and a more queer platonic friendship dynamic, and see as they finish, they have some really big goals professionally and academically. And so supporting them in that and allowing them to focus on that and seeing where that can go.
Yeah. Well, I like the way that you have sort of specific intentions for each connection in each relationship. That feels super valuable and maybe something that I can think about for myself. I have general relationship intentions. They're a little bit more, maybe a little bit more self-centered. I don't know. They're a little bit more self-oriented. Like, who do I want to be in relationship? I guess that's not self-centered because I'm showing up for people in this way. The words that are just coming to mind are like, don't hold back. You know, it's like, it kind of feels like all in. That's my theme. See, I like themes.
All in.
I'm all in, which is like, so different from where I was this time last year. I was all out. Like,
what you say, solitary confinement?
Really, like I was not all in. I was very much like, everyone stay away from me for a very long time. And it's not that I'm welcoming in like a bazillion connections. That's just not my style or personality. It never will be. And I'm very happy with that. And I don't know that I have been consciously holding back. I think I have been holding back, maybe not in a negative way, just in a necessary way, as someone who has still been healing from divorce, who has still been figuring out who I am in this world, who has still been acclimating to where I live now. Like when I think back to, God, January of 2020, my life looked literally completely different. It's unrecognizable. The fact that I'm sitting here on a podcast saying, I'm queer, I'm poly, I use she, they, that is like ridiculous. And I don't know that people can really understand how different my life was. So yeah, it was necessary to be holding back in relationship because until I know what I have to offer people, I can't be fully invested in relationships. I'm still doing the work on myself. And I've come to a really beautiful place of integration in my relationship with self. That work will continue as it always does. But like, I'm really ready to give in relationships in a way that I was not ready to before. And so I don't want to have fear about that. I want to go all in, balls to the wall. And if I fall on my face and I get hurt, I will pick myself up again and I will heal again because I've done it before and I know I could do it. So yeah, I'm inviting any listeners who are resonating with that theme to adopt it and go with me on this journey of being all in.
Yay, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. I can feel that in my body as I say that. Like, that's not just a cognitive, oh, this is what sounds nice this year. That's like a no. Like, my spirit is telling me, like, go. The time is now. Do it.
Well, on that note, we've set our intentions. We've set both our creative relationship intentions and our romantic relationship intentions. Hopefully this was helpful and y'all now have some ideas about connecting with your loved ones, your friends, creative partners, whatever dynamic, and setting some intentions with them and reviewing agreements.
Or breaking up with them if it's
or breaking up with them. Right. No more work with you.
Transitioning the relationship.
Yes, relationship transition. On that note, we have some queer joys.
Yeah. Do you have one, Keely? Do you want me to go?
Mine is just very general. So it sounds like you have a more specific one. For me, it's just, I have been really developing queer friendships and really embracing the city of queer community because I do live in the city I live in. I do have a lot of biological family and I do have some connection to my family of origin. And I've just been really had so much fun being in all these different places and really building more of a queer community than I've ever had. And some of that is through the people I'm dating, but also as I come more and more into myself, we talk about this all the time, but coming into my gender, coming into my sexuality, even though I've been out since I was like 19, just each year coming more into myself, I really feel myself showing up a way in community where I'm making these really beautiful connections and they're so fucking queer. And as silly as it may sound, like when I'm going to these events and see people I know, and it feels like, for some reason in my head, it referenced, I thought of when I used to watch TV with my dad and watch Cheers and, they come into the bar and they know each other, where everyone knows your name. Like that's what it's like for me, right? Like fully in the queer community, going to these different events. And it's, yeah, a lot of them are bars, but going to the Blazers game, going to the choir, the lesbian choir concert, going just out and about in like coffee shops, like queer places, queer hangouts. It's just so lovely. And so building and feeling fully in a community, in a bigger community, both having the community at Connective Therapy Collective, but also this bigger Portland community is just so awesome. I'm so lucky.
It's that feeling, like you said, it's just so incredible to walk in and be like, here are my people,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, my queer joy, again, by the time this is aired, it will have already happened. At the time of recording, it's happening in like 3 days. So I'm real excited. I haven't, as y'all know, I haven't been taking myself out on my solo dates in a while, partially because it's cold. Also, I spent a lot of money this summer doing that, and I needed to rein it back a little bit. But I splurged and bought myself a ticket to see the Nutcracker Ballet locally.
Ooh.
And I mean, one, it's cool because I haven't seen like Portland Ballet Company perform, or the Oregon Ballet Company perform. So that's something that I, as an ex-dancer and artist, that's just meaningful to me. Also, I grew up doing the Nutcracker Ballet every single year with the Oakland Ballet. I was trained in like the Young Academy, like the Oakland Ballet Academy. And so we got to join the Oakland Ballet Company and doing the Nutcracker on a gorgeous stage, the Paramount Theater in Oakland. So I have so many fond memories of that time. And it's going to be totally different choreography. Every company has a different version of the Nutcracker, but the themes, obviously the story and themes are the same. So that's going to be some good inner child stuff for me. Also, it's like the ballet, and that's a good reason to get dressed up in fancy clothes that I never get to wear anymore.
Hey.
So I am decking out in like a full-on evening gown and heels and the whole. I have like a floor-length peacoat that I never wear because it's way too fancy for anything that I ever do. But I'm like, the ballet, it's like ballet and opera. Those are the two things I can think about that like you're allowed to be as fancy as possible and no one's gonna look at you weird. So I'm going to that in a few days and I'm super, super excited.
Yay. Well, that's it. That's a year. That's a full year in the podcast. Thank you, all of you, for following us and listening to us and hopefully learning from us. And we love hearing from you and learning from you as well. And just so much gratitude to all of our listeners and all of our followers. And we really, really hope you have a queer and joyful week and a queer and joyful new year.
Thanks for listening to Queer Relationships, Queer Joy, a podcast by the Connective Therapy Collective, hosted by Keely C. Helmick and Melisa DeSegurant, with audio edited by Leigh Supapo Bernito. I'm your producer and behind-the-scenes buddy, Cardinal Marking. Intro music is by Bad Snacks. If this episode made you smile or think, tell us about it. If you hated it, tell us about that. Review us on iTunes or Spotify, or send us an email at media@connectivetherapycollective.com. Follow our Instagram at queer_relationships_queer_joy and find more resources on our website, www.connectivetherapycollective.com/queer-relationships-queer-joy. It's a lot of links. Just check the episode description. All right. Love you. Bye.